So we'll start with the relevant team, Utah. Their previous head coach, Quin Snyder, he left on his own accord. There were reports too that Utah did offer him another contract. He's decided to step away. Then Donovan Mitchell says he didn't want Snyder to go. There's rumors that Donovan wants out, and there's still this weirdness with Rudy Gobert. So what's going to happen with the Utah Jazz?
Well, first off, you got to figure out where Donovan Mitchell is at. There's been so many different rumors of he wants out, and Utah is just unfortunately a franchise in which it's almost impossible for them to really lure big time free agents. So they're going to have to build through the draft and trades. I just think they got to be realistic with where they're at. This is the best their roster is going to get. They would need some pretty drastic changes to try and build a championship contender around Gobert and Mitchell. So if Mitchell's unhappy and he wants out, I think you got to trade him. Some of the interesting spots that I could see, Miami, obviously they've been in the rumor mill for quite some time. They have a lot of great young pieces like Tyler Hero, Max Strus, Duncan Robinson, Gabe Vincent, Bam Adebayo, a litany of different players that could be available in trade talks. Also, the New York Knicks, they've been trying to get a superstar to go there since Melo left, and Donovan Mitchell could be that guy. Maybe he wants to be in New York. I don't think the Knicks would want to trade RJ Barrett, but maybe they don't want Julius Randle anymore. I'm not sure what's happening with the Knicks. If you're a Knicks fan, you can comment down below any possibilities there. And the final one, and I think this would actually personally be the most interesting one for Donovan Mitchell, is the Raptors. They have a really good core with Pascal Siakam, Gary Trent Jr., Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, like a lot of great players over there, OG Anunoby. And I think that they could probably make a deal work. I assume it'd probably be around Gary Trent Jr.
OG's apparently wanting a trade.
And he's a solid young player as well. You throw in some picks, you add in, some other players. I think that could work out really well for both teams. And then for Rudy Gobert, he's a little more interesting because I'm not sure that he is necessarily looking to leave Utah. But if you're going to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, I just don't expect you to be able to build a championship contending roster with Rudy Gobert as your best player. So I think in Utah's interest, the best scenario, if you're going to move Mitchell, is to get rid of Gobert. The best fits for him, the biggest one seems to be the Dallas Mavericks. That's the one that everybody is really talking about because they just don't have a solid starting center option. With Quin Snyder resigning and the way that we've seen Utah go out the last couple of years, honestly, if Donovan Mitchell doesn't want to stay, I think it's time to blow it up. If he does want to stay, I mean, you make some roster additions and you tweak some things and you hope that you can build a championship contender around him because, like I said, they're not going to attract major free agents. So Donovan Mitchell is probably the best guy you can have for a long time.
Yeah, I think if anything, Rudy is more likely to go if I had a bet between the two. Bleacher Report did like a few mock trades. I saw one was like Rudy to maybe the Raptors. Raptors do need kind of a center, but I think they do like their position versatility. I've seen my Spurs thrown in there, but we already kind of have Jakob Poeltl. Like, why would we trade for Rudy Gobert, who's like $20 million more and like does the same kind of things that Jakob Poeltl is? Yes, maybe to a higher level, but once again, like, is it $20 million worth more of a higher level? I don't think so. Rudy Gobert is going to be tough to move.
He's locked up through 2026, so it's not like a short term.
It's a big contract. Yeah, it's a big one. I wouldn't be shocked on a fire still because, like as of right now, they are over the cap. They're not going to be able to add anybody. It's going to have to be addition via subtraction somehow. So I see probably a tear down and a rebuild in Utah's future as well. Maybe not right away, maybe just over the next year or two, maybe get rid of Mike Conley and his contract, find a buyer for him. Bogdanovich is a solid player. Jordan Clarkson is, Royce O'Neal is a very good role player. I could see a contender wanting a guy like him. And then they have some young pieces. They have, Azubuike, who's a good center that maybe they can, develop especially if they get rid of Gobert. And then they did draft your guy, Jared Butler, I think late last year. Who knows? Second round pick. So we'll see what happens with Utah. A lot of question marks going forward. But I think basically we've been saying first domino is kind of falling, but the real big domino is if Mitchell / Gobert gets traded, because I think that's depending on what they can get back. We'll see what happens because obviously they're not going to be doing much in terms of free agent signing.